All right, welcome back to the Retro Barber YouTube channel. We're going to talk today about a topic that's very interesting to me. We're going to talk about three different paths that you can take to be potentially a successful barber. Okay, uh, there's a lot of different barbers and professionals out there who would give you their perspective. And honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot of content over the years. I have been busy working myself since 2003, and thank God, still working strong today. But I wanted to begin to get on here, get on YouTube, and share a lot from my experience and share some knowledge that would hopefully help some of you on your path to success, whether it's being a hairstylist, a barber, or any kind of technical work, an esthetician, a nail tech, massage therapy. Basically, these principles that we'll and strategies that we'll talk about can really, surpass just my industry, right? And you can take it and mix it with what you're doing, and hopefully, something you hear will help you and inspire you in your entrepreneurship or your career path, whatever it may be. So I want to talk about three different paths you can take. In this case, as a barber, to be successful. Okay. And depending on who you talk to, maybe some people will agree with this, maybe some people won't. I'm definitely open for feedback. But the first thing I would start with is, say you're a licensed barber, you're done with school, you got your hours, you pass your tests, and you're ready to step out there into the marketplace and just really get your feet wet. You can definitely be what I call a company man. Okay, a company man is going to be in a best case scenario, you find a good shop. In my opinion, I would prefer this shop to be locally owned, not necessarily a franchise. And that's a different topic we'll talk about in a different video. But my humble opinion would be a company man. Okay, being a company man means you're going to be relatively low risk or no risk whatsoever. That means that you're coming into a place that's already established. This place, has mostly positive reviews, has a good atmosphere, has a strong, solid leader slash owner. And usually these shops have an owner that also works. Okay, works on the floor with the rest of the barbers. That may not always be the case, but in my experience, that's something that I do. Is I get in there and I work with the crew. We're servicing customers. We're taking care of families that come in, and having that owner slash manager there who's kind of in there in the trenches with his crew, to me, makes a huge difference. So, if you're coming out and you're looking to get in there and hit the ground running as a licensed professional, I would definitely do my research. If they have a position available, even though they're going to interview you, you could also interview the leadership and kind of find out, get the answer to some of these questions that might come up as maybe while you're watching some of these videos that I'll be putting out. So yeah, a company man. Okay. Company man, like I said, low to no risk whatsoever. All the risk has been taken already by the owner, by management, and just by somebody else already built that shop. So somebody else already established the customer base, and you'll just come in and you'll be able to take advantage of that already established customer base. And that would mean that you would have to, be in alignment with the vision of that owner. You have to be in alignment with the values and the culture of that shop. And if it's something that mixes well with kind of your mindset and how you do things, it could be a very good fit, and you can be an asset to the owner of that shop, to the management of that shop, and that would also help with unity altogether, and servicing the customers, taking care of the people. That's what we said. Being a barber is about taking care of the people. So usually in these type of shops, because everything's already established, it's all you come in, you set up at a station, and all you got to do is show up, be on time, and do high quality work, be consistent. And for the most part, if it's a well run shop, you'll be compensated for your time. You'll be compensated for your skill. And usually, most of these well run shops these days, especially, are commission based. Okay, and if it's and these commissions can vary depending on the shop, but depending on the pricing of the services, you could do very, very well. And really the key that I tell anybody is, if you're going to be in this industry, be ready to put in the hours. Be ready to put in your 5 days, come in early, stay late, skip lunch sometimes. You know what I mean? Growing up, being a 90s kid, I just kind of grew up with that mindset as do what you got to do to succeed. I know a lot of that's changed, this last 20 years or so, but that's stuck with me. It's ingrained in me. So, whether you're younger or not, I would encourage you, hey, put in the work and you will reap the results and the rewards. All right. So that's the first path. Be a company man. There's nothing wrong with it. Low to zero risk. You can stay there for years and you can build with the company and be an asset to that team. Okay. And it could be that that's just for a season, maybe a few years, and then maybe you move on to another opportunity. But I would encourage you, if that's the case, keep a good relationship with the owner. Keep a good relationship with whoever helped you to get established in a good place and to succeed, okay? You never want to burn bridges. This will be a separate video about barber culture and how, how things can happen in this industry, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's something that I endeavor to do my part to shift to more positive thing. Let's help each other grow. It's not about, stepping on toes to get ahead. We don't have to do all that. All right. Moving on to the next one. Path number 2 is, I'm calling it, for the sake of this video, guerrilla warfare. All right. And I take that term from, those of you might know, guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing, man, is old school, and I've done it many times. Get out there with a business card, get out there with flyers, hit the neighborhoods, hit the schools, hit all the businesses in the surrounding area. Old school marketing. Shake hands, kiss babies, you know what I mean? You get out there and almost like politicking a little bit. But what you're doing is you're getting your name out there. You're reaching into the community and just seeing what you can do. And now most of the time with this type of path, that means that in this case you're doing like a booth rental, which these days you've seen them maybe in your city. There's these salon suite type buildings that have little rooms, usually a 10 by 10 or 10 by 12, something like that. And basically, you negotiate your own lease and you're basically self-employed. So what that means is, yeah, you have your own space. You're an independent person, and you're running the show, which means you're 100% responsible for getting the clientele to come in. In these cases, there's going to be zero walk-ins, no walk-ins whatsoever. This is a path that's really more for somebody who's been established at maybe a shop and has built the clientele, and or maybe you cut hair out of your house or something like that, but you're ready to move into something that's a little bit more legit. Let's just say that for the sake of discussion. But this guerrilla marketing type independent path can have great reward, but it's definitely that next level of risk. So if the company man have low to zero risk, basically, you're going to be up in that level 5 or 6, of risk where, you're putting your name on that dotted line and this space is for you. Assuming that you rent it out like a salon suite or a little studio or any kind of retail space where you signed a contract, okay? Because regardless if you do 0 haircuts or 100 haircuts, or services or whatever the case may be for your field, that rent's going to be due every week or every month, depending on the structure, okay? But like I said, if you have already established a good base of clientele and people who follow you, people who like you and like your services, then if you made that move, you made the move confidently, knowing that you got your following on lockdown, and you can continue to get some more referrals and new clients that can book with you in that space. All right. So we'll call that the guerrilla warfare, the independent type of provider, right? You got your own space and you're doing your thing, and you only answer to yourself basically. As long as your rent's paid and things are taken care of there with the landlords, then you're good, right? Now, back in the day, as I came up in the industry, some barbershops did offer booth rentals, and you might still find some of that these days. But really, the industry has changed significantly, especially, let's say, the last 5 to 7 years, where a lot of shops, a lot of owners are getting away from that structure. And there's many reasons that they would get away from that structure. But there's a few holdouts. So depending on your city or where you live, you might find a place that's going to rent you a booth. But usually, in that case, you're still on your own. As long as the owner is getting his cut, you can pretty much do 100 haircuts or 1,000 haircuts. It doesn't matter. The owner's still going to get that cut. But if you find yourself in this situation and that shop is not necessarily busy with walk-ins or call-ins or appointments, you're on your own to get that clientele. So again, you still have that level 5 or 6, of risk there, where you got to go and grind. You got to go and do, hit the pavement and do what you got to do to get those people to come and see you. We have a little bit more tools nowadays with Instagram and social media and different things like that, Facebook. So there's definitely a lot more options today than there was when I was getting into this business back in 2003, 2004 timeline. So it's definitely doable. But saying that, let's move on to the last potentially successful path, being a barber or any other trade, that's similar to this, is let's call it, for discussion's sake, the kingpin, the boss, el jefe, right? And this is basically where, in my opinion, if you're gonna take this path, you got to pay your dues. I don't think that you could come straight out of school and try to open a shop right away and try to be a boss or el jefe, right? You got to pay your dues. So really, to do this path, you got to be in the industry at least for a good while. You got to get your feet wet. You got to get comfortable, and you really got to develop leadership skills, management skills, and do your own research. I call it the school of hands-on, and that's basically where, hey, you got to learn the business side of things. You got to learn how you negotiate a lease in an actual, maybe a shopping center or something like that, right? Or for a building. You really got to learn how to dig into that, or get help, figuring those things out. That way you don't make a mistake, okay? Also, it's a much bigger risk because usually these spaces are significantly more expensive than like a salon suite or like a studio, that you're renting in some obscure place, right? That's usually cheap. But we're talking big picture here. We're talking brick and mortar location, okay? That being said, the reward can be very big. So, if you're gonna do this path, let's just say in my case, when I took this path to finally, sign on the dotted line and get a lease and get a building, thankfully I already had years of clientele already built up, a following that was going to be pretty faithful and come on over to the new business venture, right? And I also had connections with other barbers who were also looking to make a change, or in my case, one of my best friends who I went to barber school with. And sometimes the timing lines up where those things could come together, and you could feel a lot more confident taking the kingpin route as the boss, el jefe, and signing the dotted line and opening your own shop. All right. Now, like I said, there's a lot more risk because now there's a lot more variables, right? You got the gas bill, you got the electricity bill, you got the cable bill, the internet bill, the phone bill. You got to figure out all these different things, and that's part of that risk, right? That's part of that risk. But if you play your cards right, if you're smart and wise and you do your own research on all these different parts, you can have a very successful business. You can, take your time and bring in the right people. And also, this is an opportunity for you to build a brand, for you to do things how you have in your mind and in your heart to build it, to set yourself apart from maybe other shops in the area, to set yourself apart. Something I always look at is trying to set the quality of service and customer service very high. I always say you don't have to be the best skilled barber in the world, but if you can be consistent, if you can treat people well, if you could have excellent time management where you're not inconveniencing your customers, especially if you're appointment based, if you can just take care of those basic things and give a decent haircut, decent, people will come back to you, okay? People come back to you. And the reason I say that is especially here in the United States, there's a lot of corporate cutteries. I like corporate chop shops where they just get the people in and out, 8-10 minutes, tidy, rush cut, cut corners. And people pay the money, and for some reason, all these years later, those places are still open. People go in there for the cheap, quick haircut, so the bar is not set very high at all, right? Now, if they step into your shop, well, what should happen is, first of all, they should love your atmosphere. They should be comfortable, and then they should be pleasantly surprised by the much higher level of quality that they're getting, not just in service, customer service, but in skill, in the actual haircut, right? In the actual service that they're paying for. So that's a big thing to look at, is you got to set yourself apart and, focus on those things that you're very good at. And you can also improve on those things that you're not good at. This is an opportunity also to build a team around you. And maybe in a separate video we can talk about this, but it's very important. If you take this path to be the kingpin here, like to be a boss, to be an owner, and to manage a shop, from scratch, to start it and to get it going and to build that team, you got to make sure that you ask certain questions beforehand, and that whoever you're bringing in is on the same page as you. In other words, they're gonna be in alignment with the vision, with your goals for the barbershop, and for the clientele that you'll be servicing. That way, stuff will go smoothly. And if everything is done right over time, it's gonna take time to build this, but over time, the reward could be exceptional. Okay, financially, you can do very well. And this can get you to a place where, let's just say you do cut hair as an owner, then maybe you don't cut as much and you can focus on building the business, right? You can focus on keeping all the chairs full, getting new clientele for your team, of barbers, for your team of stylists. And you can focus on those other things, but still maintain, a good sized clientele, still maintain that presence in the shop, where people know, hey, this is where the retro barber's at. This is where Pedro's at. This is where, whoever. This is where they're at. This is where we're making it happen. And that's the third and final path for this video's sake that you can take. All right. So I hope that you can have a baseline here of what we've talked about. You can research all these things, and if you have any questions. I'm no expert, but I do believe I have a lot of knowledge and experience, right? Experience is vital. And especially as you go through the years and you have ups and downs and everything in between. You hear people say, I've seen it all. I think I have seen it all. But for those of you who run barbershops, you know what I mean. that first 5 years of running a barbershop, it feels like you encounter every scenario and every situation humanly possible. Obstacles, but the reward is great. So thank you for checking in with the Retro Barber. Hope to make more content, not just talking about the barber industry, but business in general, some fun stuff, life experiences, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.